Hello everyone, you are all welcome to lecture number 1128, and today's topic is still in connection of Chandryan 3 airship, and that the Vikram lander and Pragyan was landed on moon, and that I have already discussed in two of my lectures. And today I am going to discuss about the type of instruments involved. So it is the instrumentation of Vikram lander and Pragyan rover, and I have listed those instrumentations. The first one, that is called ChaSTE. Actually, ChaSTE, chart means it is Chandryan, and that is a type of instrument which is attached to Vikram lander, and the main role of this instrument is to measure and to understand the behavior, temperature behavior or temperature of the surface, and also underground lunar soil, what is the temperature. And it was very much surprising, I have already mentioned, that on surface when there is sunlight, and you know that moon days are equal to 14 days of earth, there will be for 14 days sun, and then another 14 days night. So during that 14 days when there was sun to that southern part of the moon, the temperature on the surface was 60 degrees centigrade. It was high temperature. But when the Vikram instrument, that is ChaSTE, started digging, and it was found that when 8 centimeter deep the lunar surface, or we can say soil of the moon, the temperature became minus 10 degrees centigrade. So it's a drastic change in the temperature of surface, upper side, and under the surface, lunar surface. And that was measured by the instrument, and the name of that instrument is ChaSTE, STE, and it is Chandryan, and it is the instrument on Vikram lander, and it is responsible for measure the temperature profile to understand the thermal behavior of the lunar surface. And there are 10 sensors which are attached to this instrument, and these 10 sensors, they are we can say guided, commanded by artificial intelligence. It's all with artificial intelligence as well as robotics. They are all playing their role. But here I am talking of the main sensors and instruments which are responsible. So the first instrument, that is your ChaSTE, that is sensors, and by going 1 centimeter to 8 centimeter, the lunar soil, the temperature becomes in minus 5 degrees centigrade to 10 degrees centigrade, while the temperature on the surface of the moon is having 60 degrees centigrade, and while the sun shine is there. Vikram and Pragyan rover made observations on the moon around 12 days. After 12 days, it was put on deep sleep mode, and only it started, that was on 22nd of September. But if I say started, doesn't mean that it has started sending the signals. Out of 32 sensors, only 16 which are controlled by artificial intelligence are giving positive response, but the rest of the other sensors, they are still in sleep mode, and the scientists till today they are trying to activate the rover on the surface of the moon. So the second instrument, the name is LIBS, is a very, very powerful instrument of our rover and lander, which was on the surface of the moon. And the full form of this LIBS is that is laser induced breakdown spectroscopy. And here this instrument is responsible of creating the laser beam, and that laser beam was targeted to a very specific area where the rover was landed, and that area immediately, once the laser, it was focused to laser beam, all the substances, matter, element, whatever you call, chemicals, they were all ionized, because it created very high temperature in hundreds and thousands of degrees centigrade, and with that temperature all the electrons were knocked down, and all the elements, they became electron free only with their nucleus. And then with the help of different bombardment of that is alpha instrument and gamma instrument, with the sensor, with the support of data, that is by artificial intelligence, robotic, they played very important role to do the analysis of the elements. And these elements are sulfur, oxygen, aluminum, chromium, titanium, calcium, like that. So all these I have already discussed. Here I am just very specific of such type of instrumentations and spectroscopy which are involved in doing the research work. So that the second instrument is that is called LIBS. The full form of LIBS is laser induced breakdown spectroscopy. On 28 August, the LIBS instrument confirmed the presence of sulfur S on the surface of moon. Actually, first on 28 they reported, because the sulfur was first confirmed because it was in large quantity, and that I have already given in previous lecture. That gives the indication that there may be lot of volcanic eruption and some cosmic eruption is there. That's why large quantity of sulfur is there. There again, the large quantity of oxygen is also investigated, and it was found. And the laser beam was targeted at this small area of the lunar soil. Here, due to very high temperature, the lunar soil changes into plasma state. With this ionic state of elements, the scientists confirm the presence of sulfur, aluminum, calcium, chromium, titanium, manganese, silicon, and oxygen. So these elemental components of the moon soil, or we call it lunar soil, is confirmed. And first time this confirmation is by any instrumentation on the surface of the moon. Before, these elements were not confirmed by the instrumentation or by spectral studies. It was only from outer orbit this the NASA and other, they suspected, indicated that these elements may be there. But this time it is all with the help of instrumentation, with the help of spectral studies, all these elements are confirmed on the surface of the moon. It is to be noted, it is It is to be noted that the credit for making these precise instruments and advanced technologies like use of artificial intelligence, AI, robotics, data scientists to study and do the analysis of data sent by Chandrayaan 3 was important. And today, the data scientists and data science, purification of data is one of the most important area, and everything is around the data and analysis of data, management of data, purification of data. If I say purification of data, means if we are getting the data, sometimes it is in crude form, lot of impurities are there. So to get exact data, that is called data purification, is now very, very lucrative subject, very good career. And my advice to all those young generation, please, if you get chance, go and become data analyst, data scientist, or study data science. Because in future, unless we know the artificial intelligence, its application, and data management, data analysis, data purification, we are incomplete. Now the third spectroscopy, that is APXS spectroscopy, that is alpha particle X-ray spectroscopy. And this spectroscopy here is by the presence of radioactive material which are inbuilt in Chandrayaan, that is in Vikram and rover, and they are producing the radioactivity, and that radioactivity is responsible of knocking down, exciting the electron, and in this way the X-ray is generated. And this spectroscopic study is mainly responsible of detecting in traces or in very, very minute quantity the presence of aluminum and iron, titanium, silicon, like that. So this one is APXS, that is called alpha particle X-ray spectrometer. There is also gamma particle X-ray spectrometer. Here we are using alpha particle. There are alpha, beta, gamma. These are there. Gamma is rays and alpha, beta in the form of particle. It is responsible of using radioactive materials that is inbuilt with Chandrayaan, that is Vikram and rover. And this instrument is main source of radioactive substance that is carried with lander and rover, that is Chandrayaan 3. And APXS spectroscopy detects the presence of trace elements in minor quantities, and in south pole region of moon it discovered interesting elements that I have already mentioned with the help of alpha particle spectrometer. Means by losing electrons it will produce X-ray, that is alpha spectroscopy is mainly used in Chandrayaan 3 to identify radionuclides based on the alpha particle emitted in decay process, similar to that of gamma spectroscopy. The principle of APXS spectroscopy involves the measurement of X-ray emission. Generation of X-ray occurs when electrons are accelerated under potential difference and turn into electromagnetic radiation. This is the basic principle of spectroscopic study here, because how to create the electromagnetic radiation and emission of generation of X-ray, and that will give the clue of different elements, and that is APEX will specifically look for manganese, aluminum, silicon, potassium, calcium, titanium and iron in the soil of the moon, or we can call it lunar soil. So I am discussing these spectroscopic techniques to find out the elements. And why I am discussing? Because these spectral studies are very important for chemistry, biochemistry, even for geology students in discovery of new elements or in minute quantity in traces in space on different planets. So that's why these instruments, and these instruments means mainly they are spectroscopic techniques to produce the electromagnetic radiation and how they are interacting, how they are going to knock down electrons in the form of ions, how plasma light is produced, how X-ray is generated. All these are around spectral studies. It's very interesting, and two more instruments are remaining that I will be discussing in the next lecture. And with this I will stop and enjoy spectral studies. It's a very latest, very interesting branch linked with artificial intelligence and robotics. So with this I will stop. Thank you very much for watching the lecture.